Hi Noah, I downloaded your Excel file that was submitted, and this is the one that was marked up. And the first page, the first sheet that's added is a submission markup that tells you where points were deducted. So it tells you that you lost 49.5 points with 72 cells with comments, and then there's some comments here about the graph, the bar graph. So let's go over to the questions, and let's go back up to the top of your sheet here. So everywhere you see a little red mark here, it means that something's wrong with the formula. So if you click on the cell, up top here in the window, it'll show you what you put in, and if you click here and just move your mouse over here, it'll tell you exactly what the formula is supposed to say. You put it in looking at C8, which is not correct because it should be looking at B8, and you also have to put that questions exclamation point to tell which sheet it's on. So you did all of these incorrectly here, all the way down. The same problem with all of those calculations. Every single one is labeled identically for that particular cell. There's also a problem here. So if we click here, you said must be equal to 1, and it actually tells you, come over a little bit, it wasn't set. That was expected text must be equal to 1 was not even present in, that's a drop-down menu, so I'm not sure what happened there, but you should be using the drop-down menu here. Okay, so you picked the wrong answer here. It looks like you typed it in, I guess, instead of using the drop-down menu, so I can imagine. So you have your original sheet. Then down here, I guess you copied the frequency cells over, so you have the same error. Yeah, I don't even know what you did here. Because if I look at your formula, you did count of from A1 to A210 equal to C49. And you should have just actually, once you fix the cells up here, you can just copy those cells down into these cells here because they're exactly the same numbers. And then over here in the last column, you did a really complicated formula, and you really didn't have to do that complicated formula. And it tells you, again, as I take my mouse over that little red mark, it tells me exactly what should be done there because you actually were setting up the columns here to be able to just calculate that formula easily. If you look at it, it says it wasn't set to G49, which would be times D49. Again, you're just making it more complicated, I think, than it needs to be. You've typed in a whole new formula there, and they wanted you to actually use some of the things that you were calculating here in order to get the calculation for this column. So again, if you just follow the feedback here, you can go ahead and correct your file. Down here, again, you typed a number in. I'm not really sure what you did here. You did an average, and it was supposed to be a sum product function. Same thing down here. You did a covariance, which is not supposed to be finding the variance. And then this cell was supposed to be a standard deviation, and you did a standard deviation for a proportion, and you're supposed to be doing, I'm not sure what you did there. This, you just sort of, once you found the variance up here, you're just going to find the square root of it to get the standard deviation down here in cell J78. So again, if you follow all the feedback, you can fix the spreadsheet. I will go ahead and give you one more attempt for this Excel project only, but you have to be careful. Give it some time to grade it, and then come back and don't hit submit twice, because you're going to get dinged for a second attempt if you don't wait for feedback to come. And it will come, so don't try to hit submit again, because that will count as 2 attempts. So for this one only, I will give you a second attempt, but I'm not going to do that in the future. So you want to make sure that you do it correctly this time when you do the submission, and give it a chance to submit before you look for the file to come back. Go back over to the gradebook like I showed you in the video in week 2, review your results in there, and then go back and submit after you've made the change.